but those kind of moments, I don't know, maybe not as big as heaven, because there's in my career, when I've been in the studio, there's always been that one song that you think, oh, if the stars are aligned, and what else is, depending on what's going on in the world, this could be a big hit. But now heaven was like that. Circle in the Sand, Mad About You, We Got the Beat. Yeah.
The stars just aligned.
Yeah, they did.
Well, getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was such a big, thing. There was, all those years before when people like myself and many people would say, like, how could the Go-Go's not be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? We all just assumed, Cher just got inducted. I mean, she famously once said, even if they ask me now, I'm going to say no. I mean, apparently, I guess that changed. Like,
So good too. Yeah.
right. Like, what do you think it is with people like you, the Go-Go's, Cher, like where it's just like certain bands that should have it much earlier? I mean, it's not a timing thing that just fall through the cracks.
Right. Well, I know what ours was without naming names, because we were very, very disliked by some of the men who headed up the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Very disliked. I think so. And I heard through the years the Go-Go's will get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame over my dead body. So when that person left the Rock Hall committee as the head of the Rock Hall, we were on the ballot immediately.
Wow.
So I bet it was Cher. I don't understand why that took so long. I mean, I was like a big advocate for her as soon as we got in. But I wonder why the B-52s, why aren't they in there? I mean, they were so ahead of their time and so influential. And it kills me that they're not even being considered at the moment.
Right. I would agree. I think they're very well ahead of their time. And, they were, kind of out in music when, people weren't out, when you look at like Fred
Right.
Schneider.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I'm really hoping. Well, I'm sure it'll happen. Like I was always thought that the Go-Go's would happen, that we get there eventually. But I think when the documentary came out, it was kind of undeniable because a lot of people didn't know the story, you know?
Right. Where do you think music is today? I'm stuck in the 80s and 90s with music. I mean, I will be the first to admit when it's something new and current, it takes me a minute to figure it out or like it. So I'm biased. I think anyone could say that maybe about the childhood music they grew up in, but the voices, the stories, it was just such real music, whether it was
Real
pop or
music.
new wave. Like, where do you think we are today?
Oh, I don't think well, I think most of it's trash, to be honest. I just think indisposable. And I think that, we were lucky. We came up in a time when artists were being developed by A&R people at record companies. And now it's not even about artistry so much as it is about money. And I think that that's really killed music. And I mean, there are some good things that come up every now and then. I don't really know the names of the things that I hear. I go, oh, this is really good, because I don't listen to a lot of radio. But I go back and I listen to. I mean, I was in a Fine Young Cannibals rabbit hole, and it's like they were unbelievable. That whole era, like the late '80s, well, even all through the '80s, because even late '70s when punk, and you go back to the mid '70s, and you go the whole Laurel Canyon scene was amazing too. So we just haven't had anything extraordinary since like the mid 90s, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so either personally. Like, I just saw Duran Duran last week. I saw
Oh,
Cyndi Lauper, right? Like, and they too were late to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah, they were. Well, it's I think that everything just became more corporate, and just there's it's just everything. I don't know. I have to say, when the Go-Go's, we did a performance at the Billboard Hall of Fame or Billboard Awards or whatever. It's about 6 or 7 years ago. And first of all, everything was like, this is like, there's no authenticity at all. And everything was so sexualized on top of it, which was for us, we've all done everything, and experienced everything. I mean, when we were like, oh, this is like really uncomfortable and weird. So I don't know. I hope, I like to think it'll get back to where it was. It will have like some big new musical movement, which I think we will eventually. But
Yeah.
right now, it's just like it's pretty bad.
I would agree with that. I mean, do you like any like you look at like a Taylor Swift, like the Eras tour is like the biggest thing ever, like Chapel Rowan, just like has had a
I love
years.
Chapel Rowan. I think she's
Yeah.
amazing. She's like the next big thing. I think she's one of my favorite new up and coming people, artists. Yeah.
And is original and has, is not just cookie cutter.
No, everything is so cookie cutter. Yeah.
Have you ever been approached like, I'm a gay man of a certain age. Of course, I love the Go-Go's and Belinda Carlisle. I mean, Drew Barrymore is at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like that makes sense, Margaret Cho. But like, have you ever been approached by someone like famous where, they came up and they're like, by the way, I'm a huge Go-Go's fan. And it's just like someone that we wouldn't expect. Just, stereotypically some straight heterosexual man that's like, oh, I know every word to Beauty and the Beat, by the way.
That always shocks me. I can't name anybody off the top of my head, but I know that through the years that I have been surprised. Well, I mean, I remember the Go-Go's played. It was I forgot the name of the venue. It was I think maybe the Ritz in New York. It was like way back in the early 80s, like 1980, before we got signed. And John Lennon was there, and Yoko Ono, and Pete Townsend. And I know through the years, Rod Stewart. I mean, and you always kind of shocked, like it's like they're coming to see me, and they're a fan. But that's always it's always a surprise, and it's always, you know, great. What can I say?
Something positive.
Yeah.
I know your son lives here in West Hollywood. Like, do you ever, and you grew up in LA, do you ever miss, I know you've been living abroad for forever now. Like, do you ever
Yeah.
miss, California? I know you come back a lot, but do you ever miss living in the States?
Mm, I don't miss it, especially now. I mean, I miss my friends. I miss my family. Um, I mean, I was born and raised in California, so um, but I mean, I'm only a 3 hour flight now. It used to be when I was in Thailand, it was 27 hours door to door. And then I would go, oh, I miss it. But now if I miss it, I can just, it's like I said, 3 hours. So, but there's nothing really so much that I miss. No, to be honest, just my friends and family.
And you're starting the Animal People Alliance in Mexico next, right?
Yeah, we're hoping it's not as easy as I mean, India wasn't easy, but we're in the process of trying to find land and someone who is knowledgeable about, because it's so complicated with the type of land. I mean, I'm learning a lot